Perfect! As I said at the end of the last video, the sanding is going to be one of the longest and most tedious parts, so I kind of want to start doing it. So what I'm going to do is set a timer where anytime I'm going to be out here for a substantial amount of time, I'm going to sand or work on the outside for at least a half hour before I go to the inside. And I think that'll kind of help me get into the mindset, whether I like it or not, of starting to get this outside looking better. All right, and that was a half hour. I'm only recording that once. You just gotta trust. I'm gonna be out here doing that every time I'm out here for a substantial amount of time. Now I can move on to the interior and feel a little better about myself. But here's what I worked on. There's just this section here. It looks a lot better. I hit it here with the big sander. There's quite a big leap here, so I think I'm gonna get the orbital sander and try and taper this down a bit. Pretty good in here. A couple spots I gotta touch up down here. And then I just started working along these edges, but it's looking better every day. I like this spot right here, where we get 1, 2, 3, 4 pieces all connected, and it's just a nice little solid piece. I have been sanding this, and I have the belt sander, which I have used to knock down larger pieces, but if I even nick the side of this, it goes right through. It's way too aggressive, so I wanted to stay away from the belt sander. So I was using my random orbital sander, but this wasn't taking off much material at all. I know it doesn't have sandpaper on it, I'm aware. I had paper on it at one time. So I went down to block sanding it, and it was taking forever. So I was thinking there's gotta be a quicker way. So I looked around and I found that I had just a standard palm sander. So I got some 80 grit for that, and this is the match made in heaven. It knocks it down quick and fast, but it doesn't do too much damage if you screw up. With about 1 hour of using this, I got as far as I did with block sanding and random orbital sanding in about 3 days. So I'm very glad I found this combo. I'm actually almost done sanding all of it. I got both sides and the ceiling. I have to chop down the back yet, and that's about it. We're getting real close. Then I shouldn't say we're getting real close. I'm being real close to done rough sanding. I still have to completely go over this in 60 grit for the Durabak. That's what they say for wood. But even before that, I got about a bajillion, give or take, staple holes that I have to wood fill over, and then of course all the gaps. That's just where I'm at, checking in quick. I really haven't been doing time lapses because this is super boring. I guess I'll do a quick one at the back or something, just so there's something in there. That's about it. As you can see, I started filling the staple holes. I got the batch size pretty good to where I can get about 50 staples done with one batch. This stuff, I'm not used to working with it. I've worked with like plaster joint compound, and that's really forgiving. But this stuff, it'll be fine, real smooth and creamy, and then all of a sudden you'll go to lay one and it'll be like sandy almost. It'll be like pinholing and it'll get a little rough. And at that point, it's like a couple seconds away from being unusable. So it has a really sharp reaction time of usable, not usable. But I got it to where I can do about 50 staples a pop before it hardens. I'm going on pretty thick because in a perfect world, I would like to have to do this once over each staple, sand it and be good. I don't want to have to do 2 coats of this. Over the cracks, that'll be a little different. I'm probably going to do thinner coats, but for this, I would like to do one and done. So it is a little thicker, but it's going well. I thought this would be a big pain in the butt, but I can't complain. One change I'm gonna do, so like here I had 2 uneven surfaces, so I wood filled the whole thing, and then here I had a good surface and I wood filled the whole thing, and the only place you can see the wood fill is where there was low spots or gaps. So I think I'm just gonna put filler in the spots with gaps like here, because I'm just wasting a lot of product covering the whole thing and then sanding it all the way down to nothing. Standing right in front of it, but there it is. Ooh. I was very nervous about that. That looks good. It's upside down, but don't worry about it. That brightens it up in here a bit. Very nice. All right, we got it outside for the first time. I did all the final sanding. I blew it off. I wiped it down with xylene, which is what they recommend. Got all the loose sawdust off. Got my paint supplies, my 3/16 mohair brush, roller, and 3 gallons of Durabak, which I'm hoping is enough. I have it all prepped to the Durabak standards. Hopefully this works out good. It's also 55% humidity, which is above the minimum of 40 that they recommend. All right, the first coat is complete. I should be able to do the next coat in like an hour when it's dry to the touch. I used just under 1 gallon for the first coat, so that's good if we're going by 3 coat theory, and it should take less on the second and third because it's getting sucked into the wood. You can start to see through the paint quite a bit as it dries. But overall, I'm happy with the color. Tight fit.
Am I good?
Guess so. I might not have needed you here. I messed up. The windows are good for 1.5 inch gap, they said. I completely forgot I have a 1/4 inch of plywood on top of my 1.5 inch gap, making it 1 3/4. So I think I need a longer screw. I couldn't find one, but I will. Okay, cut to a few days later. I got the windows installed. I just had to track down some longer trim screws. I didn't mean to sound so down and out when I found out the windows weren't gonna fit. It was just the end of a very long day. I was out here for over 12 hours. I did the whole finish sanding, a couple touch-up spots, blew it all off, wiped it down, and did 3 coats of Durabak all in one day. It was a very long day, and I just wanted to get the windows in because I knew I was gonna have to take a break for a couple days, and I just wanted to get a good portion of the outside done. But I'm back out here, I got some time, the windows are in. I did not caulk them yet because I still have to build the door. And I have 1 tube of caulk. I think it'll do all 3 windows, but I'd rather crack it open and use it on all of them at once instead of trying to cap it off, because I've not worked with this caulk before and I don't know how its drying properties are. I wouldn't want to have to go buy another tube just for 1 more window. Another thing, my camper jacks came in today. They are still in the box right off camera. It's pouring rain out, so I'm gonna wait till it's dry because I don't have a door yet and the windows aren't caulked, like I was just saying. So I don't want to take it out in the rain quite yet. So what I'm going to do now is start on the door. I'm sure this will be another long and involved process because it's a very intricate moving piece. With that being said, I think that's everything. I come out here and I stare at it sometimes. It turned out so good. I love it. I love it. Let's get to it. Focusing on the door. This is kind of what I'm scared of. So I'm scared of these being straight. And obviously if you look, I have the top and bottom support and it's tight, but in the middle here, there's a gap. and that's on both sides. So I'm kind of building the frame in the door just in case it's not perfectly square. And then I'm going to put a cross support in where the door handle goes and then where the windows are. And I think I'm going to glue and maybe like throw some temporary staples in this, let the glue dry, and then pull it out and then do a final screwing on it. But I think that way I can verify that these are up tight. And then obviously I'll have to shave this down a bit so the door can actually pivot open. But at least I know I'll have like this on a good angle here. I am not that far into this and it sucks already. I'm not happy about building doors. One thing that is kind of like on my mind is this is the last piece of cedar decking that I had, and I had exactly enough to make this frame. So I don't want to screw this up because then I have to run to the store. I also have one piece of ply back there that's going to be the door face. Don't want to screw that up either, or I have to go buy more ply. So this is kind of a one-shot deal with materials I have left over. I've had the door frame glued in here for a bit. We have the frame, the bottom of where the door handle is gonna go, and the bottom of where the window is gonna mount. I'm gonna get the top one in once I get it down, because it's a little high up there to be messing with. Hopefully I can pop all this out in one piece, lay it down flat, screw it together, and then glue it to the plywood skin. Let's give it a shot. It's a lightweight door. I am countersinking the holes pretty deep in case I need to shave wood off the sides to make it fit better. I know I'm gonna have to shave wood off the sides, just it comes down to how much, but I don't wanna be trying to sand and hitting screw heads. So I'm going pretty deep. Not bad at all. There's obviously some friction there still, but it's not real wonky or anything. All right, I say we throw some plywood on it. Let's just go for it. I've also become pretty fond of that flush cut router bit that I've been using, so I feel pretty confident just securing it to the plywood as is on this big sheet and then trimming it up with the router after instead of trying to make precision cuts. That thing has been a game changer since I figured it out. Another thing I will mention, this time I remembered to make my window brace, I cut it down to 1 inch, so with the ply it'll be 1 1/4, well under the 1 1/2 that it needs, since that was obviously a problem with the windows I put on the camper itself. And I went, instead of doing 1 1/2 inch structure and then 1/4 inch skin, I shaved these down just like a 1/16 of an inch, just because I don't want the doors sitting outwards of the camper. And I feel like with it going in and out, it's not going to be completely flush. So hopefully just shaving a 1/16 off, it'll do okay. I probably could have went an 1/8, but it's too late now. Too big for my planer. One door. Watch me get it stuck in there. Oh. Here I have the door handle block glued and screwed in, and the window framed out. I made this plate big enough for a handle and a deadbolt, but I'm just putting a handle on it for now with a lock. If I find it's an issue in the future, I can put a deadbolt, but this is a camper. I'm not gonna have that many valuables in it. You know, you can steal my griddle and my used mattress if you want, but it'll just be an honesty lock with a turn here and a key on the outside. But I can put a deadbolt. Because the hinges, I did not buy expensive hinges. I just got standard ones with a removable pin, but they do have the security tab in there to more dissuade people. So if the door is closed and you take the pin out, it's supposed to lock. You're not supposed to be able to get it past this pin here. So I think it'll be good enough. As I said, I don't want to spend a ton on hinges and hardware because I'm not going to be storing super valuable stuff in there. Worst case scenario, I put the super valuable stuff in the truck if I need it. Obviously the truck is always going to be with the camper. I've got the hinges recessed in on the door side. Since the door in the camper are skinnier than 2 inch, I had to cut the hinges down a little bit just to get them to sit flush, but I can still get all 4 screws in. All right, I'm back again. Did some more sanding and we got a door. Look at that. Handle. Now if I did this right, the screws that came with the window should fit this trim ring. You all ready to see one completed exterior door? Woo! That's clean. All right, I'm gonna do that 3 more times. You can trust that I did it. I'm not gonna record it. A couple more exterior pieces I did while the camera was in the editing room. I added the portholes for me to stick my hand through for the tie downs, and then I actually built these tie down brackets. They're just D-rings that are welded to a strap. That way the strap is actually on skeletal structure pieces instead of just into the 1/4 inch ply. So they're pretty long in the back, but then they shorten up front because there's a shorter width of the beams. And then on this side, I added a gate latch so that I can't get locked in to the camper. So that one's kind of pulling double duty. Now these are opening from the outside. I have a piece of insulation covering that one. So I think what I'm gonna do is put a bar of some sort on the inside here so that I can screw them out from the camper, set them aside, bolt everything down, and then screw them back in from inside. It was more of an aesthetics thing. I cut the hole and I really didn't like the way it looked coming through. I can show you right here. See, I didn't have a way to cut an 8-inch hole. I didn't have an 8-inch hole saw. So I used a jigsaw and it wasn't perfect and there's some gap in there. And I didn't want that showing on the outside. I don't think that looks great. So that's what we got. There we have it. Fully Durabak, fully windowed, fully caulked. It's in the air right now, so excuse my walk around. Besides that, I added a rain drip guard for the door to help it better seal and keep weather out. And I fixed that door closing issue. I resanded it down, re-Durabacked it, and listen to this. Oh, beautiful. And that's it for part 5. In part 6, we will get into the interior and maybe some of the electrical, but I'm not sure yet. Thanks for watching. I think it turned out really good.